Hello, Flosstube. Welcome back. Episode 3 of my Flosstube. I'm Teresa. This is the Garden Goose Stitcher. I'm getting better at saying that. Thank you so much for all the people who found me, subscribed, liked, commented. I had a lot of fun this past week commenting back or thinking about what you, like some suggestions I had. It was really great. Thank you for anybody who told people where I was, what I was doing. That was kind of very humbling. And my sister ended up finding it, and she called me to tell me nice things, and I was like, stop making fun of me. And she's like, I'm not. And I was like, well, I don't accept compliments well. But thank you so much for everyone who left very nice comments and subscribed. Very humbling. Seriously. I've heard other people talk about this community being so fantastic and welcoming. So true. I didn't really know exactly what you meant until it happened to me. So thank you very much. So this is my Flosstube number 3. I'm here to talk about my stitching this week. I got some stitching done. Did not get a lot of finishing done. So that's okay, right? Maybe in next week I'll have a flurry of finishes. But this past week my son had 2 hockey games. One, they got murdered. It's not funny, but it was pretty bad. And the next one they won, and they were short like 5 kids. And so we thought we were for sure going to get slaughtered, but they turned out really well. I taught that cross stitch class. I'm here to report it went really well. Thank you for all the people who encouraged me. It went really well. I think all 5 of them took well to it. I thought. Nobody seemed to get bored or frustrated even. Several of them I stitch in hand, and I use like the sewing method with the loop method. And but several of them liked the hoops, so I'm glad I bought them. I ended up misplacing my mom's kit because hers didn't have one of the little pencil boxes. It was just in, or pouches. It was just in like a pattern sleeve. And I totally left it sitting on my cutting table. So she got out of cross stitch class, but the 5 girls did really, really well. I really think, don't you think, when you're first learning that mitigating knots is the most difficult part? So I tried to focus on that because I remember when I was starting, I was like, what am I doing wrong? So we did talk a lot about that, and I took a lot of their knots out. It was very interesting to see how each girl did. And I was surprised, like somebody was quick and efficient, and the other one kept like splicing the weave of the cross stitch cloth. I thought that was interesting that she just kept missing the hole. And one of my nieces, she was doing the stitches right, and they were even, and they were I thought they laid nice and flat, but the way she put her needle in wasn't the way I taught her, even though I did it like 2 or 3 times. She put hers in a different way, and so in the back it looked like R's instead of just up and down lines. It was so funny when I told her, you're not doing it wrong, but you're just doing it differently than the others. She's like, nuh-uh. And I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. And so she made everybody else show them their back, and she's like, well, I don't know. But anyway, she wasn't doing it wrong. It was just differently. I think that's interesting, the way different people see a square, or see the half stitches. It went really well. I thought it did. So hopefully they'll finish that up. I did the Lori Holt little Santa from her stitch card. Well, not the stitch cards. It was the original, like, Christmas mix match. No. I've done those. Have you done those? I've done 3 of them. I've done the Christmas, the Halloween, and the fall. And I intend to do others because I have a spot on the top of my hutch. But like the big card, and it has all the different things, and then everything's the same size. You can, gosh, I wish I remember what it was called. I feel dumb. I have to say that I don't feel like I combine words in real life as much as I do on Flosstube. So I just want to let you know, I don't always take 2 words and sandwich them together. When I rewatched my thing, I was like, what was I saying? Also, thanks for not pointing out the fact that I called it quilt shops, my favorite quilt shops in my last video. Called them LNSs like 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row. And I was absolutely like sitting here like, oh my God, why. But I totally meant quilt shops. I don't think they sell any needlework supplies. So anyway, all right, so let's talk about what I stitched this week. I feel like I stitched on a lot of things. I was assembling them together, and I sure felt like I was scattered, although it didn't seem like it. I did stitch on my Wordplay Wednesday last Wednesday. I got a lot more done. This is my Wordplay Wednesday. I'm doing November's. This is by Brenda Gervais. Can anyone explain to me why Brenda Gervais is by needle and thread in some things, and then other times she's just Brenda Gervais? Am I stupid? I'm not sure. Brenda Gervais. But like, is this an old thing? And then like when she does the new stuff, it's with a needle and thread? Can anyone explain that to me? Anyway, so I did get a little bit more stitching. Remember, I only had the unk and the ink last week, and I had the pumpkin, but I did get that turkey mostly stitched. I just have his, just a little bit. And then oddly enough, if you follow me on Instagram my name is Teresa McMath01. Did you know that's my name? That's my actual name, Teresa McMath. I'm not a math person. I didn't make that up to be cute or anything. My actual last name is McMath. Some people are always like, oh, McMath. And I was like, listen, I took my husband's name. Don't look at me to do math in public. I'll pull up my calculator. Thank you very much. Do you know, I'll tell you quick. Most of you know this if you've met me in real life, but I met my husband in 11th grade in high school in my little hometown. And we went to this in math class, like it's a small town, 130 kids graduating class. And he came in 9th grade, thought he was just that weird kid. What do we have, a new kid? Small town people. Related to half the high school probably in one way or another. But anyway, so 11th grade or 10th grade? 11th grade. I get an assigned seat in this math class. Who does assigned seats still? Well, that teacher did. And I was assigned the seat next to McMath. And I was like, the Lord has placed you in my path, sir. Please give me your paper. A copy of him, which is terrible because now I homeschool his child. So terrible. But I would copy off his homework. But I figured the Lord had put the math kid next to me in the assigned seat, right? But that teacher gave way too much homework. It was like, instead of doing like 20 problems of practice, she give you like 120. And I have a social life. Dave didn't. Thank God. Because he had the homework done every day. Anyway, so I got the turkey done. And then the next day, a couple days later, I happened to, in the pattern, his wattle, that's a wattle, right? That's a wattle, is brown. Or like pretty much the same color as his body, maybe a little bit. I made it red. And then I went over to my cousin's house, who she happens to have some bronze turkeys. That is on my to-do list someday, to have turkeys in my flock. And her turkey's head is blue. Made me want to go home and restitch that. But I don't know. I said, why is his head blue? And she said, is it right now? And I was like, yeah, why? Does it change? I don't know these things about turkeys because I don't have them yet. But blue. Her turkey's name is Johnny Cash. And then the female, the hen's name is June. So, very fun. Okay, I also, with the looming start of a new Sal, I felt a little pressure to have made some progress on my Ye Be Thankful. This is a Sal with the girls on Instagram, Missy and Kathy and Holly and Tammy. And I just stitched along with them. They didn't ask me to. I was just like, oh, a Sal. I'll do that at my house. Thank you. This is the one I'm not sure. Is it a series? Anyway, I don't know. So I stitched a little bit on this. I think mostly just Saturday. And I got the house stitch. I only had a little bit of it done. And I got the Be Ye. And that's all I got done. But it makes me feel better to have that done. Very much. Glad I got a little bit. I do like that one. If that one gets put in my Whipco board for 2023, I won't be mad because I do love stitching on it. And it would be nice to be, I bet you I could just, I get it done pretty fast. Oh, I also worked on my Lizzie Kate string, Thankful string. You'd think I'd have this done, wouldn't ya? I don't. I took this to hockey practice on Thursday and I stitched it. And I got to the R. Stitching along. And then I put in, there's a couple other people, and I put in my earbuds and I'm listening to Outlander, which is not, you know, you have to listen. There's accents and there's stuff. And then this little girl comes up and was like, I like your stitching. And I was like, trying to get them out. And then then a man comes up after that. And he, out of the blue, literally no one has ever talked to me while I was stitching at the hockey rink, ever. And then twice in one night, totally unprepared. And this older gentleman, like my parents' age, came up and was like, what are you doing there, young lady? And I was like, just stitching. He's like, is that needlepoint? I said, no, it's cross stitch. He's like, okay, thanks. I think he said something nice. I just said thanks and put my earbud back in. I thought that was quite a fluke, don't you? Anyway, next I did work on my Christmas tree. I think I put probably 3 more. Did I watch 3 movies? I think I did watch 3 Christmas movies for the Hallmark Christmas movie series. I don't know that I stitched on this all 3 movies, but I think I got a couple more hours in. But I worked on it a bit. So last time I think I had just the bottom bows done, and then like maybe I'd started the star. Maybe I'd gotten that star done, but I got a little bit more done. And then somebody in my comments, sorry, I didn't submit to memory your name, but I thought it was a fantastic idea. She said she stitched this in a sal. I must have messed up. And that they changed the birds out to be cardinals. They stitched them in red. Genius. Genius. Totally stealing that. I'm assuming since it was I think I might just stitch one of the birds red just for the cardinals. We filled up our bird feeder today. It was started snowing, and so our cardinals were out there. I think we have 2 pairs of cardinals. Yes, we have 2 pairs, and we have 2 or 3 pairs of blue jays that live here, and like all winter long they'll be at our bird feeder. And then the eastern bluebirds were back. Listen, when we moved out to the country, bird watching became our hobby. We don't watch a lot of TV, but we'll just linger at the dining table because we have a big bay window and just watch whatever's at the feeder. We have a book. We're simple folk. So, also on Sunday, guess what happened? The sale started. Also, hold on, I gotta say something. Several people said that they also had Fruits of Plenty ready to go, and that starting at the new year sounds great. I will sal with you. I don't know if you watched my first video. Whatever sal it is, I'm probably in. And so if you want to sal with me with the Fruits of Plenty, I'm down for it. Sign me up. I think we should do it. So Joy and Good Cheer. I started stitching this on Sunday, and I got quite a bit done. I'll tell you why. Today's Tuesday. I stitched on it yesterday as well because it is very enjoyable to stitch on. I loved it. I'm using Classic Colorworks. No, I'm not. That was a lie. And I don't know how to edit this. I'm using Color and Cotton. I love the variegation in Color and Cotton. Although this teal color, I guess it's a teal. To me, it is an aqua. It doesn't have very much variegation. It's called Hunter, I think. And someone else in the Sal I saw on Instagram is also using Color and Cotton. And she is using the same Hunter color. But it's interesting because I happen to have 2 skeins of Hunter. Both of them look totally different, which is very odd. But I did get stitched on that house. I think I'm using Holly Berry. on the house. It reminds me of my friend Holly, who started the hashtag. Also, it was just a nice color. And then Holly was helping me because I've never done a satin stitch in cross stitch. When I was a teenager, I think I dabbled in like embroidery stuff, but I don't think I've ever done one in cross stitch before, and I had no idea what to do. And so I stitched it. I just winged it because I'm not afraid to mess up. I have to redo it. And it looked like jail bars because I followed the directions where it said stitch 1 on the back stitching and the can you see it? Can you see the satin stitch on that wing? So the directions said 1 strand. And so then Holly like read the directions. And she was like, yeah, but that's if you're stitching on 32 with 1 strand. So if you're stitching with 2 strands on 28, you should use 2 strands in the satin stitch. So sure enough, I took it apart, redid it, and it looks much better. And you can really see the variegation in the wing. It just happened to turn out that way. Don't you love that? I sure do. I have been avoiding a lot of the green leaves and stuff. It'll help me when I get them in because I don't know where my floss is for that. But I think it might be in my You Be Thankful bag. This is the bag I'm using for my Joy Good Cheer sale. This bag, guess where I got it? Can you read that? Probably not. I got this at the Stitches Etc. retreat. Everybody got, okay, when you got there, because it was Christmas in July with the housewives, everybody got to open a present. Like, I'm sure that it was just a lot of work to wrap all those presents. But everybody got a project bag. It has a little zipper pull with an etched little acrylic thing that says Christmas in July with the Housewives 2022. And I do like this bag. I thought it's very nice with the vintage Santas. And so I've been putting it in there. Especially because that's where I sat and chatted for a long time with Holly and Tammy. So now I'm using the bag. Okay. So today it snowed. So I started my snow day project, which is also on the same pattern. I'm not going to flash that because I'm getting better. This is my snow day project. We had flurries like all day, pretty much all day, and none of it really stuck. See, there's a special vocabulary that comes out when you're recording. And then if you'll remember, I'm doing the January preschooler during school time, but I'm going to show you I'm stitching this on Jobelin. What does that mean? What is Jobelin? What's the difference between Jobelin and Adana? I mean, I know it's 2 different things, but I can't tell the difference. Can you? So I just basically started a little bit. Today was a wacky day. So I just basically have the top, that little bit, and that one little snowflake. So I thought it was nice. I got this in those scrap bags at the Can't Stitch a Lot retreat. And then, that was just today. I went and got groceries and I don't know. It's been an off day. I think we got all of school done. I don't know. And then I've been working on this during school. I think last week. I don't remember, you guys. I know I had this bottom part and I know I had the hill lined out, but I don't know if I had any of the sledding guy on there or not. But I got the one sledder done, most of the second one, and the dog. I had to redo the dog's tail because I messed it up. And I don't know where my floss is for their face of my flesh color. I think it's the one that I just found. I just cleaned up my workbench and I was like, what is this scheme doing here? No, I think about it. I bet you that's the one. Did I flash the chart? Oh, shit. So sorry. I'm so sorry. So that is all of my whips. I was scattered, right? I know I watched those 3 Christmas movies. I also watched a couple of true crime documentary dramedies, you know, where they have like some real narration and then some weird reenactments. I didn't get a lot of haul. Ready for haul? Didn't get a lot, but I got some. I got my, hey listen, did I call the other one Floss Fix? Because that's the other one. It's the Floss something. This is the Floss Fix. Classic Colorworks. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, macaroni and cheese, goldfish, candied yams, pumpkin harvest, old marigold, and colonial copper. Floss Fix. I'm in the club. Are you in the club? I'm in the Weeks Club and the aren't they pretty? Oh, yeah, they are. And then my order I ordered more mushroom, and I'm not sure why. It was that middle of the night shopping experience. Remember when I ordered the modern folk embroidery one? And I ordered a big thing of mushroom. I think it's just and I think it's because I didn't think I had enough fabric to stitch the Joy and Good Cheer piece on what was left over, but I did. And also, then when I was doing something else, I found a huge hunk of it in my bin. I really need to organize my fabric bin, because now I'm buying stuff I don't need because I can't find it in there. So bought this pretty mushroom. Now I have a good supply of it. And wasn't Missy just talking about mushroom? I think she said she's on 32 count. Also, I bought this. This is a yard of 28 count white. And if it's orange, isn't it Zweigarts? Yeah. So I bought a yard of white Zweigarts. And I am going through coffee tea diet. Talk me out of it. I'm going to do it. I don't care. Because I really do like coffee tea dyed fabric. And I'm out of 14 count, which I don't really love. I prefer 16 or 18 count now. However, there's some series in my house, like the Paris Schooler and a couple other things that I started on 14 count. So I'm going to have to continue to do that so that the finishing piece will fit it. So I bought some of those tubes of Zweigart from Hobby Lobby or whatever. And then, so if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do a big pot of coffee tea, and I'm gonna do some 28 count, so I have a high, a different count equivalent. So I bought a yard, and we'll see what happens. I think I bought this so I can coffee tea dye it and possibly use it for the modern folk embroidery Fruits of Plenty. I think that was my middle of the night thinking after I just bought that. I don't know. Talk me out of it. I'm gonna do it. I do like coffee tea dye. I mean, I do love like specialty stuff, but I do like coffee tea dye. And I also bought this. I bought this. This is Big Tricot fabric. But I love this stitched panel. It's like Christmas stuff. And it's got all these little cute words. And I bought some fabrics to go with it. I'm gonna make a project bag. So I bought that for someday, someday. Who knows? And then I saw, okay, bought this. It arrived a couple days ago. And then I saw today that, hold on. Oh, what's her name? Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily. The lady that makes these. Hold on. I'm not going to mess it up. Tiger Lily Design. She's a Flosstube. She's incredible. I love her energy. I feel like a slug when I watch her because I'm just like slower. But I love her energy, and I bought this. And I love that she takes old pieces, old tablecloths or whatever, and reuses them. So then I happened to see she made one of these with that fabric, and I was like, oh, this holds my Turkey Tavern. Have you stitched the Turkey Tavern? I think that's what I got the kind with 2 big pockets because I usually have my floss on floss straps, not bobbins. I'm trying to change it over. So I saw that she had one of these made out of that fabric, and I was like, no, Teresa, I'm not buying that. Because I bought her pattern. Not only did I buy this, but then I bought the pattern so that I could, I'm a very visual person, so even when I have good directions, sometimes it helps me to actually see it. In fact, I was making cross stitch clutches using the tutorials that that the pattern comes with. Doing great, loving them. And then my friend gifted me a real one. And I was like, oh, that's where that goes. It should be sticking out. It was like where you put the vinyl on the pocket. I don't know. Now that's embarrassing because I gifted a couple of those away before I really knew where to tuck that little piece of vinyl in. So anyway, I thought it might be helpful to have a real one when I one day attempt to follow her pattern. I'm sure it's fantastic. She's been making patterns. Have you seen that? Do you know that I watch a lot of Flosstube in my kitchen? And this is why I have a hard time recalling names, and I have a hard time remembering where it was when I watch them, because when we bought our house last year, it came with a fancy fridge that has a TV on it, and I wouldn't buy it. If you're asking for a recommendation, I'd say no. But anywho, it's fine. It's great. But I do watch Flosstube on it quite a bit because I'm in there cooking or canning. I have broth to do tomorrow. And if I am for long periods of time, I can turn on Flosstube and watch it on my TV or on my fridge. And so a lot of times, because it's not logged in, because why does my fridge, listen, I don't have anything logged in on there. So a lot of times I have to go back with my phone and go like or comment on the video that I just watched. So whenever somebody says they've been looking at their analytics and they have a lot more viewers than they do subscribers, I want to be like, it could be me on my fridge. Probably not just me, but so anyway, I end up watching Tiger Lily a lot on my fridge, so I don't know why. What am I forgetting? I didn't have any finishes. Isn't that a bummer? I have high hopes for next week. High hopes. Yeah, we don't have school next week, right? Is next week Thanksgiving? Yeah, it is. I'm just taking everything one day at a time. I know that on Saturday, some of my friends are coming over to quilt with me or so. I might still stitch. Might do both. I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you about this quilt today in just a minute. I'm going to wait till the end because I know not everybody gives any hoots about quilting. But I wanted to tell you about something else. Do you follow N Punkin Quilting? I think it's a blogspot website. But she is on Instagram and she has a blog and she shares a ton of freebies. A ton of free patterns. Just out of the goodness of her heart. She makes the patterns. She usually has them just linked in her blog post with the PDF file or the link to, sometimes it seems like a digital image to me, but I decided that in December I'm going to stitch her ornament series. Have you already done this? Somebody else did this. They did freebies. I think it might have been in Christmas in July that somebody used the Pinker and Pumpkin freebie ornaments instead of buying a new pattern. But look what I did. Okay, I'm not going to show them, even though there are freebies, so don't come at me. But if you like one, you should just go to her site because they're free and you can just print them. So my plan is on December 1st, I'm going to stitch the salt box. I love her salt boxes. At that retreat I went to with the at that retreat I went to, the local one in Davison, that was, hold on, Camp Stitch-A-Lot. Camp Stitch-A-Lot, when I went to Camp Stitch-A-Lot, I was talking about the salt boxes, and my friend Marilyn was like, what? And then she just opened up her tablet. She was on her phone for a while, and then she opens up her tablet and starts going through them. And she's like, I love the salt boxes. And I was like, yeah, they're good. So on the first, I'm going to stitch the salt box for a bit. And then I'm going to do a daily ornament. I printed off a bunch of them. I actually, because you just download the PDF, and then I actually like zoomed in and then put 2 on one page. Does that make sense? And then I printed them off. So I have a whole bunch. I'm not going to show you all of them. But you can just go to her website. And then on Christmas Eve, I'm planning to stitch this one, which a lot of people have seen this, and a lot of people have just stitched this part. And then on Christmas Day, if I have stitching time, I'm going to do this one. So I just thought that was really exciting. I got it all organized, which is not my normal jam. I usually wait till the last minute. And then I'm like, wait, where did I put my things? I'm pretty much planning to do it on Coffee Tea Dyed. Probably 18 count. Maybe 16. We'll see what I have. I have some ornaments from last year that I need to finish. I'm hoping that I will. I did the Erica Arndt 12 days of Christmas. Was it 24? I don't know. I bought the pack. She had a packet full of patterns. I have one right here. There's one right there. It's so tiny. And I'm kind of concerned about what I was planning by leaving such a small amount of fabric around there. So those are my plans. Those were my whips, my haul. I didn't have a finish. Now, 2 people asked about my quilting. 2. I'm going to take it as a green light to tell you. So if you hate quilting, we can still be friends. That's fine. But I'm going to tell you about the quilt that's behind me because it has an amazing story. And I didn't make it. I want to scooch over for a second. Can you see it? There's another row above. I'm going to try to get my husband to teach me how to insert a picture. If there's no picture, don't ask. It didn't work out. But last year, in 2021, my husband retired from the Air Force. While he was in the Air Force, most bases we went to, well, the last spaces we went to, I tried to teach someone how to quilt. Just because I needed a friend. I needed a hobby because I had a young child. And then I needed a friend to sew with. So sometimes my sister-in-law would just email back and forth with me. She quilts. And when she had her son, she felt the need to like stitch something or make something too. And so we'd email back and forth. And then when Facebook came about, some of the girls that I had taught and girls I was stitching with currently, we made a Facebook group. Okay, that's what happened. Made a Facebook group, and we were gonna sew along. We did, I think we did 10 quilt alongs, various like degrees. Like we took it simple and then went up. I know exactly what happened. Let me tell you how. When I met my friend Kristen, and we'd been friends for a little bit, and she wanted to learn how to quilt. And so she and the woman that introduced us, Bree, we would get together and sew a couple times. I think we did it maybe for a month or 2. I don't know. We all had little kids. Mine was 3. If mine was 3, Bree's was 2, and then Kristen's was maybe 1. Maybe not quite. I remember him being in footy pajamas one night when he came to sew, when they came to sew. So anyway, so we did a quilt along in person after the initial quilt that I taught Kristen with. And then that way she can do the same thing I'm doing, and I'm not actually teaching, but she still has guidance, and I'm right there, you know, step by step. And then we're going to do another one, but Bree got orders to Italy. And so we were talking about doing another one, and we thought, let's do it online because we can just share pictures and, you know, talk back and forth. And then I was thinking about all the other quilty people I'd met or knew. And so I started inviting them. My neighbor from New Mexico, my cousin, who taught me to quilt when we were in high school, and then a high school friend, my cousin's good friend, who I kept in touch with. She lived in Colorado, so a couple of times when I went to Colorado to see my sister-in-law, I would get to see Julie too, because Julie lived there. So even though everybody's spread out everywhere, we're still like a small world in a Facebook group, and it grew. So my sister-in-law Rebecca added her college roommate, and Kristen added her sister-in-law. I don't know, it just grew. It grew. And we were doing all these quilt-alongs, and it was amazing. And every time somebody would have a baby, there was a lot of babies, we would take a block and each make one and pitch it into somebody who would create the quilt and then send it off to the new baby. Well, there was a boom in that group. And so I think we made over 10 of them, maybe 14. I don't know. Some of those girls got a lot of kids. Anyway, we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of conversation on the group page. And I feel like it was a safe space because everybody, like I pretty much knew everybody in real life. The only person I didn't know in real life yet was my sister-in-law's college roommate, April. So, and now I know her in real life. She's coming over on Saturday. But, so anywho. So, big life moments. One of our friends hiked the Appalachian Trail alone. And she kept this video or this like blog that she would upload when she had, and we were making a quilt for her while she was hiking the trail. And like, I bought special hiking fabric from like Spoonflower. Is that still a thing? Anyway, it was amazing. So we made, whenever somebody had like a major life event, if people were sick, we might try to send heart blocks or something just to show our love. So it kind of waned because everybody's busy. There's no more babies hardly. There's a sporadic one. We still have made quilts from. But last August, some of these girls, my sister-in-law was in town for David, obviously it's his sister. She was in town for his retirement party. We had it at my mother-in-law's barn. And so she was in town. Julie had moved back to Michigan. Erin, my cousin who taught me, had moved back to Michigan. A friend from high school who had joined along the way somewhere. She lives not far. So they show up. I don't think April was there. I think it was just the four of them. So they decided to give me this quilt before the party. Thank the Lord, because I had no idea. And I sobbed like a baby. Like, sobbed. I am a child. I'm a middle child of some sort of weird genetic combination that means we don't like to show emotion. Like, we have them. We just don't like to show them. So they hand me this thing and I was like, what is this? And then I read like the first line and I just emotionally, which is not me. And I didn't even care because my husband's retirement was such a huge life change. And it was like, I was feeling all of these sentimental feelings because this was our way of life for 20 years. And I was so proud of him. And I was melancholy, but I was happy, but I was nervous. And I just could cry on a dime. And so that's difficult for somebody like me. So they assembled this quilt. It's obviously in red, white, and blue. I mostly stitch with Bonnie and Camille fabric. A lot of it is Bonnie and Camille fabric. Not all of it is. My cousin Erin, who taught me how to quilt in high school. I was thinking about it earlier. I think I was in 10th grade and she was 11th. She specifically used fabric that was her grandmother's. And her grandma had a sewing group that met at the Congregational Church in our hometown. And that's where I would go to sew. And so, like, through high school, for like a couple of years, I made 2 quilts. I made the like a scrappy charm quilt, and then I made a 9 patch out of like 1930s reproduction. So Erin didn't use Bonnie and Camille, but she used fabric from her grandmother's stash, and her grandmother had just died. And so that was a lot for me because everything was so thought out and amazing. And then they made me this. So if you can't see a block because it's up high and I cannot get a photo put in here, at least I can show you this. So I think I read one and then I had to immediately stop. And I think it being a year and a half, almost a year and a half later, I think I can manage, but no promises. I will read you this, okay? Because I think it's amazing. So they printed it out because, you know, like somebody assembled it and somebody typed up all these little notes and then Amber quilted it and then somebody put the binding on. So it says, thank you, David, Teresa, and Nate. Thank you for the sacrifices you made all these years for our country. Dave, you were in the thick of it daily and have made great sacrifices. Teresa, you worked so hard to give Dave a safe place to come home to and gave up countless days with your favorite guy so that he could serve the American people. Nate, you also gave up time with your dad so he could do his job. And now, may you all enjoy this new chapter together and experience the joys of this next stage of your life. So many incredible memories in the past 20 years and still many more to come. We are so excited for you guys and thank you for all you've done for our country. Love the long distance quilters. That's what we call ourselves. So then, thankfully they laminated it because I've sobbed over this many times, but I'll read you a couple. Which one can you see? We'll start up here with the envelope. So the envelope, Bree, the girl I met at, I met her at playgroup on base at Ellsworth in South Dakota. She wrote the envelope. Represents all the letters to Dave and family and friends. And then next to it is the cherries. My friend Lisa, who I went to high school with, I forgot I had included her in the original like online quilt along. I went to school with her. I've known her since we were in dance in preschool. There was 4 of us in our group, and one didn't make it to the recital. We were cute though. It says cherries to commemorate your time in Japan, and also a nod to Michigan, known for its cherries. Lisa. And then next to that is a heart, a striped heart. A heart. The heart is for all the lovely friendships you made while serving your country. That's from Marissa. She's one of the last ones in the group that I taught to quilt. And I love Marissa because I met her in homeschool karate. I didn't know that her husband worked with my husband. We were sitting there chatting and chatting. And then after a while, we put it together that our husbands were roommates during their 6 months in Qatar. And so I just think it's funny because we sat there forever not knowing that, you know, her husband has been my husband's roommate. One of my husband's only roommates the past 20 years was me and Juan. But anyway, so I taught Marissa. They left Ellsworth and they came back to Ellsworth, and I was like, let me teach you something. And I had a feeling, because she appreciated them, I had a feeling she would go for it, and she does. And she has a better fabric stash than me, I think some of it's under wraps. I don't know. Okay, so the skeins of yarn in honor of all your crocheting, and of course those C-word cowls. Amber's my friend. She lives in Colorado. She is an amazing long armor, an amazing quilter. And what she meant, the C-word cowls. In 2020, my son got COVID in December of 2020, and he was not very sick. I have to tell you, he tested positive, and so we had to quarantine at home. It was still like I think we had to do 10 days, and Dave, because of the military stuff, it was forever. Everybody was, and I just crocheted cowls. The COVID cowls is what I called them. So I'll read this one next. Let me see what that one. Around the World. This is from my sister-in-law, Rebecca. So you'll never forget the first quilt that I made when you lived in Japan. You cheered me on the whole time. This was the first time that I'd ever quilted with anyone else. Who knew it would grow into this amazing group? She was making an Around the World baby quilt when she was expecting her son. The globe. My friend Julie made that. This block symbolizes the places you were stationed, Dave's deployments, and homeschooling. The hand stitching symbolizes your support and encouragement for the new challenges. Thank you, Julie. And like, so she stitched the globe bracket thing. It was pretty. The chicken. Pretty sure my friend Kristen made this. The chicken. Because of you, my sewing skills have improved. This is hard. I should have taken a shot before I did this. Because of you, my sewing skills have improved so much. You constantly challenge, motivate, and teach me things. I will never forget the Colorado sewing retreat when you taught me to paper piece. I was certain I just could not learn how, yet you patiently guided me through every single stitch. The chicken, a nod to your this new chapter in Michigan and all the adventures that await you, Chris. I do have a lot of chickens. The star block. This is from April. A star for your and Dave's commitment to our country, and the apples are for your teaching days. I thought that was cute because the center has a really pretty apple print. Can you see it in this thing? Next, we'll do that one. What is that one? Double friendship star, because you inspired us all to be friends. And that was from Lisa again. So Lisa did the cherries and the friendship star. Next to that is the flag. Thank you and Dave for your commitment to our country. That was from Julie. The buffalo. See this bison? Okay. So I did not know they were doing this. And my friend had like major stuff going on, and yet she still made this bison to commemorate. Can you see him? To commemorate your time in South Dakota, especially spotting the herd during the quilt shop hop and heading to the buffalo roundup with sewing friends, Miranda. So my friend Miranda, I taught her, well, Kristen taught her during sewing night. So like, I don't know. Kristen taught her, but she sewed along with us. And she just was like, go. Like she came to like the first lesson. I'm going to sit over here so you can see it. She came to the first lesson, and the next thing we knew, she had like a queen size quilt planned. But anyway, so she ended up homeschooling her 4 kids, or well, one's still in preschool. And one time we were going on a shop hop in South Dakota, and we had to, the easiest way was to go through Wind Cave National Park. I don't know if you've ever been there. I recommend it. It's amazing. But there was, you can't always see bikes in there. I don't know how many times I drove through there and I never saw any, because, you know, they could be in the park somewhere. And so we pulled over because it was a long hop to go from place to place in South Dakota. And so we did see them. And then right before I left, it was in October, Marissa, who homeschooled as well, Miranda and I, each in our own cars, went to the Buffalo Roundup in Custer State Park. And it was incredible. And also kind of a letdown. If you get there late, you're not getting a good spot, and you should better take some snacks. We learned that. And the porta potties are bad by the time you get there if you're late. Anyway, the plane. There's a lot more stories to that. The airplane, made by Carrie. I made the jet for Dave, not just to represent time in the Air Force, but also so there was at least one manly block for him. The cacti, you can kind of see them. For your time in the desert of Arizona and New Mexico. Bree thought of that one. And then there's a Dresden right there. Dresden, you befriended me and taught me how to quilt when I was in desperate need of a hobby while living on the prairies of South Dakota. Our weekly sewing nights were vital to me, as they were so much more than just sewing. And that was from Kristen, the one who made the chicken too. And then this one. This one's difficult. Wheels of Time. This was made by my cousin Erin. In 2001, you and Dave were in Arizona and I was in North Carolina. We knew the Air Force was your home for 20 years. That felt like forever away. But the wheels of time kept moving, and you've completed your 20-year career to return home, Erin. And she has returned too, because when we moved away, she was in North Carolina, and then she lived in Georgia. She met her husband. They moved to Ohio, and now everyone's home, it feels like. So it's great. And then the hedgehog. Hedgehog. You made so many cute hedgehogs for us. Now it's time you got your own. Whenever we would do baby quilts, I would often make the hedgehog from Elizabeth Hartman's patterns. And then the next 3 up top, you can't really see. So the first one is a trailer. Can you see that? The camper. To the temporary house that allowed you to find your way back home. We bought a travel trailer a couple years before Dave retired, and Nate and I would come and spend the summer here just to spend time with family and have a place to stay on our own. And so then when Dave retired, in the worst housing market ever for buyers, we ended up staying in it for 4 months, with 3 dogs. I don't recommend that. But if we didn't have it, we called it the transition trailer. If we didn't have it, we would have had to buy a house that was out of price and didn't hit our boxes. The sewing machine. Here. The sewing machine. For everything you've taught us about sewing, Amber. And then let's see, the Michigan. Oh, yes. Okay. Can you see that? Is that amazing? It's made out of body camel fabric, and it's the state of Michigan. It's the mitten. I made this because you and Dave waited 20 years to move home. It's a new life, and it's so exciting. I can be your lucky penny. You can be my 4-leaf clover. Starting over. Chris Stapleton, Rebecca. So my sister-in-law made that one. When I was like keeping track of everything that was going on, I kept using that that Chris Stapleton song, Starting Over, as ways to like find what was going on. And then the butterfly. Oh yeah, can you see it? It's made out of Mackinac Island fabric from Mernick and Simpson. She's a Michigan fabric designer. Mackinac Island butterfly represent your new beginning in Michigan. Carrie. So Carrie made that. So totally shocking. Totally overwhelming for me emotionally. And I love it, and that's why it's up there. I do have a design wall behind there, but just in case you don't care about quilts, now you know at least this one that's up. I didn't make it. I can't take credit for it, but it means the most to me, I think. So that's all. I didn't mean to ramble. Thank you for checking in. I hope you get to stitch a lot this week. Hope you get to finish something, even if I don't. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Subscribe if you want. Keep in touch. Leave a comment. Send me a message. You can find me on Instagram at Teresa McMath01. And I just hope you have a great week stitching. Bye, friends.